if this were to happen to me or any of my friends and colleagues that own practices in the Northeast, right? We all have a bench of potential candidates. We all have a bench of resumes, folks that like, they kind of dipped their toe in, they kind of started to interview with us, or they showed some interest, whatever. So if this were to happen at my clinic and I'm the owner.
Here's the comment that we got, which is, I'm a physical therapist and a facility manager of a large orthopedic and sports medicine clinic of a big ortho group. I had one PT leave about 3 weeks ago, and now I have another put in there 2 weeks. Ugh. The reasons are for job opportunities closer to home and getting out of corporate PT altogether. I also let go a staff member with a managerial role last month. So if you're keeping track, that's 3 down in the last month. From these circumstances, the clinic feels hectic, stressful, and ever-changing. As the facility manager of this clinic, how and what would you communicate to your staff? What things would you want them to be reassured about? What problems do you think you need to solve first and second? I do like that forethought, like you can't solve everything at once. And why do you think this happens so frequently in outpatient therapy? Any recommendations to me? Signed, facility manager.
A lot of questions.
Yeah. Where do you want to go first? I love the fact that this person actually put in like the emotions. Like I look at words and I see words like hectic, stressful, and ever changing. That tells me she's paying attention. This, I don't know this person, but this person has empathy, or at least has the chance as empathy, as they are recognizing what their job is. Their job is to recognize that in their staff and then do something about it. So they, at least in my opinion, this person is forward thinking enough to say, I see this is my responsibility. I need to act. I don't know what to do. So their response was email a bunch of nitwits on YouTube. No, they probably asked some other people, but they also emailed us. So where would you think, if you were in this person's role, where do you think you'd start first?
Dave, what do you think?
First thing is rapid action. Depending on your state, in terms of what you can and cannot say to team members and employees about previous team members and employees, that might be a little bit different. So my initial response would be, you need to schedule an in-person meeting with the entire team. And depending on your state laws and regulations as to what I'm able to actually say about the previous therapist or the previous employees who left, depending on that, if you're allowed to, if you're able to, the team meeting is this. Hey guys, so I'm the facility manager. I'm the one that sent this question in. Hey guys, so we know things have been hectic. There's a lot of moving, parts. There's a lot going on here. And I want to just kind of communicate everything. This is something I think Jimmy would obviously agree with and appreciate. We have to communicate what's going on. Obviously, things are changing. Folks have been leaving. Now we got to pick up the slack. I just want to communicate real quick. Like the current, the previous 2 therapists, they left because of these reasons. Or maybe you can, if you're not able to say the exact reason, they left because they had to travel, or they told you guys in public. They said it in the clinic, like, hey, I'm traveling, or my wife has to move, or my spouse, or my husband has to move because of their job, or we have to relocate or whatever. So therapist A left for this reason, therapist B left for this reason, therapist C left because they, I don't know, like if you're able to say because of performance or whatever, but basically the team is leaving for these reasons. If you're able to say some of those things, you want to communicate like kind of in a professional, nice way. Like, it's not because this place sucks to work at.
Okay.
Now it also might. So you have to have some awareness, but you want to schedule this in-person meeting, over communicate. You want to get your team members talking like, hey, what have you guys, how do you guys feel? What have you heard in the trenches? Because I just want to communicate this, because otherwise this is like a leaky bucket. And if 2 therapists just got relocated or fired or whatever, and then 1 therapist left or fired or whatever, this is like potentially a mutiny on your hands, right? So you need to like patch these holes up. This is rapid action. This is like SOS, send the Coast Guard. We need help right now, because otherwise, like, we have patients coming in and we're not gonna have any therapists. So I would love to hear what Tony would do in this.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those deals. You said the word over communicate. That's what my wife says all the time. Like, this would be something I would put on my wife's shoulders, not my shoulders, because I'm terrible with this kind of stuff. But it's, you over communicate to bring peace of mind to the crew that's still there. You make the decision, is this a problem that started 10 years ago building the team culture, or is this something new? Is it just one of those weird things that just happened to coincide with 2 therapists leaving for better opportunities? I've always been, and I think you see two kinds of leaders. I've been the kind of leader that's like, everything is amazing. This is a great opportunity. Look, this is going to force us to reorganize in a good way. It's going to make things better. This gives us a chance to kind of do a little spring cleaning and improve our systems, optimize, whatever. Other therapy leaders, they're going to be like, okay, I don't care. They're gone. Who cares? Let them go. Business as usual. But to Dave's point, I think this obviously starts to spur those questions in the other employees' minds. And so you talk, you over communicate, you let them know what's the plan, everything's under control, no worries, we're going to be fine.
Yeah.
And you share the strategy of how we're going to move forward from here. Yeah. How are we going to recruit more people? How are we going to offload, so we don't burn you guys out? Probably as my business has consolidated and shrunk, and we've done nothing but shrink for a decade. Every single conversation, every single, let's go out to lunch and connect again with the team. It's always the same message. It's, hey, I know we're getting smaller. I know we're shrinking. I know we're seeing fewer visits, but that's okay. And this is why that's okay, because it gives you guys an opportunity to do more of what you want to do. We're doing this intentionally. This isn't because, the company is dying. Like, it's an intentional move, and we're ready for this. And I think that kind of gives them reassurance and confidence. What do you think, Jimmy?
Yeah, no, I agree with most of what you guys have said. I think the one thing I might change about Days is I would say we've had people leave, right? I wouldn't go into the specifics about why those people left. They either talked about it or they didn't. And I'm not even talking about from legality. I want to talk to the people in the room. And that's when I start to agree with both of you, which is to go with Chris Voss and labeling. I would say those things, right? This person says like hectic, stressful, and ever changing. Like, I would address each one of those things in terms of saying, I've heard from a number of you that this is increasing stress. I see that, I recognize it, and there's a plan in place for that. Like, people want, I think Hemingway said, like, the biggest problem in communication is when you think it has occurred. So making sure you say all these things and make sure you understand that. I learned this from Captain John Miller. And Captain John Miller was in Saving Private Ryan. It's Tom Hanks' character. And he's like, gripes go up, never down, always up. You gripe to me, I gripe to my commanding officer. You can't really say things like, I know this sucks, but we're going to handle this. So I think you just say, I see this, we understand this is being addressed. And you be very, 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 very open.
No, I think what should be done, like, you guys should have had a plan in place for this. I mean, ever since we hired our first employee, the whole plan has been, what happens when this person leaves? What happens when everybody quits? Like, we need to have these plans as part of the structure of the business. And that was part of the reason why I never kept the full caseload. As soon as we'd hire somebody, I'd delegate my caseload out to them, because I always had to be prepared that if somebody left, I could take their full caseload. Like, there was always a place for, building redundancy in the system, or else you end up dropping, what used to be a caseload shared among 5 to a caseload shared among 2.
This comes up a lot, Dave. I'll let you jump in, but like, this is where being a physical therapist or any employee and then becoming the manager is not just the most important physical therapist. Management's a different job. So I've seen people in situations where they're like, we were not prepared for this. That's quite literally your job. When 3 people will never call out sick on the same day, yes, you have to prepare for that. That quite literally is your job. And if you're not prepared for that, ask your boss. That's what their job is, to help you prepare. Gripes go up, never down, but information should always be coming down.
And you're right, Jimmy. That's the difference between even management and ownership, right? So like, if this were to happen to me or any of my friends and colleagues that own practices in the Northeast, right? We all have a bench of potential candidates. We all have a bench of resumes, folks that like, they kind of dipped their toe in, they kind of started to interview with us, or they showed some interest, whatever. So if this were to happen at my clinic and I'm the owner, it's like that same day I'm firing out 5 or 10 emails or calls or text messages or whatever. I'm trying to reactivate previous candidates that showed some interest. Maybe they did one or two parts of the interview process, but they didn't go all the way through. Maybe they went all the way through and we kind of both agreed like, hey, maybe you need to work on A, B, or C in terms of clinical skills or management skills or whatever. And then, let's talk in a year. Like that happens all the time, right? So like this individual who's a facility manager, I'm making an assumption here, they don't have as much skin in the game as an owner, right? So they're not going to say in the message here, if they had skin in the game, they would, if they own 25% of the clinic or whatever, they would have been like, and also I already started messaging and emailing other candidates that in the past year showed interest, and I'm looking to, get them interviewed or re-interviewed and scheduled on the calendar to fill these holes, right? The manager didn't even mention that, which kind of means like there is no bench, there are no potential candidates, or they're going to go up to management and be like, hey, HR, whatever, like, do we have any candidates, any resumes?
Yeah, dude, like this is where I think you treat your business or your clinic, no matter really what it is. We can talk. This is business. We could remove everything about PT from this and still have a valid conversation. You have to act like a Major League Baseball team. You need to act like Moneyball, baby. Like this was in radio. This was beaten in my head. Who is going? You have got a great team. You got a morning guy, a midday girl, an afternoon person. One of them is going to leave in the next 5 years. This is where I go into a little Gary V. Be thrilled that person grew at your clinic to the point when someone else wanted to poach them, or they felt so confident. They said, you know what, I'm going to go somewhere else. Be thrilled at that, but also be prepared for what happens when that person grows up and leaves. This was not personal. Most likely it sounds like none of these were personal, except for that third one. They had to let somebody go as a staff member with a managerial role. Good. Maybe you made a good decision. Definitely. I mean, I'd rather be short staffed than keep someone on who doesn't deserve to be there.
And I would say, to your credit too, everything that this person said, right on point. Like the fact that you were willing to let somebody go, even though two other people had just left. Most managers do whatever is easiest for them. They don't care about anything else. So they would have kept that person on, even as dead weight, just because that's another warm body with a license who can bill. So to this person's credit, this is something that they're on the right track. They probably already know the right answer. They've thought of all the things that we're saying, but they just put it out there. So we're going to reiterate what they're doing.
Hey, it's Dave Kittle. Are you a healthcare business owner or physical therapy practice owner who is looking to figure out your succession plan or exit strategy? We might be able to help. And in fact, we may be interested in acquiring your practice. If you're interested, you can reach out to me. Shoot me an email at dave@conciergepainrelief.com. That's DAVE@CONCIERGE painrelief.com. Or you can call me at any time, 646-781-8884.